Salud.
Two troubled, lonely souls are drawn to each other.
He was so polite and thoughtful. It gave me a sense of I could trust him.
She was looking for the life that she always dreamed of.
Hi, my name is Cristobal.
Here's someone, immigrant, success story, someone that would be a pillar of the community.
But when another man enters the picture, it unleashes unspeakable violence.
He would turn into this monster like Jekyll and Hyde.
Why did you do that?
And I'm screaming and screaming and screaming.
Their entire lives are going to be completely changed by this one afternoon.
Love may be blind and marriage bliss, but divorce is murder. Jennifer Winter is a troubled teenager who's growing up on the wrong side of the tracks. She's working in a shoe store to pay her way through high school.
I didn't really have family. I did live with my mother, but she ran away with a man she met that was traveling from Australia and left me and my sisters. It was very bad. I don't feel sorry for myself at all. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Jennifer had a very tough childhood. She was on her own. This was someone that had to grow up very, very quickly, and I think lacked that stability in her life.
Jennifer is only 15 when Cristobal Palacio strolls in one afternoon. An immigrant from Nicaragua, he's 6 years older and working in finance.
Cristobal came from a middle-class Nicaraguan family, and they were good people. A decent family, a working family here in Miami.
He was in his early 20s and was already working at Citibank.
My name is Cristobal.
Cristobal was a bank investigator. His job was to investigate fraud claims within the bank. He was the guy that would fill out the police report whenever fraud claims were made by consumers on the bank.
He carried a gun and all of that, and that was his job.
Jennifer is charmed. Cristobal is unlike any man she's ever met in her tough Miami neighborhood.
He was so polite and thoughtful. It gave me a sense of I could trust him.
Here's someone, immigrant, success story, someone that would be a pillar of the community.
They're both lonely and in need of a friend.
And we were talking, and he said, "Would you like to go to dinner?" And I'm like, "Not on a date. I'm not interested in that." No. Just, come hang out. We'll just hang out. I'm like, okay.
I have to admit that at first I didn't really like you. Sorry.
He was a good friend. He took me out all the time. He liked to hang out. He liked to go places and do things. He made it very clear that he had feelings for me and I was not attracted to him at all. I emotionally didn't want to be with anyone.
Well, thank you. This is really nice.
He said it was okay. He understood and he just wanted to be friends and that was fine.
Anyway, thank you for accepting. I really appreciate it.
Never put a hand on me. Never tried to kiss me. Never was, in the Latin culture, as they would say, disrespectful. He understood that I had been through something very traumatic and seemed okay with it.
In fact, Jennifer is recovering from an incident that left her deeply scarred.
I was 14 or 15. I had been raped. So I never really trusted men, I think, from that moment on.
Psychotherapist Stacy Kaiser and forensic psychologist Brian Russell believe the rape would have had a profound effect on Jennifer.
A rape at any age is violating and traumatic. But for a teenager whose identity is developing and they probably haven't had any sexual experiences, it could be truly impactful.
It can cause problems that persist into adulthood because it can make it difficult for someone to know who to trust and who to form good, healthy relationships with in adulthood.
I think it's really wonderful that Jennifer has met Cristobal because she's found a man that she can trust, someone that she feels like she can lean on, and she needs that.
It could be good, but you want to beware of anybody who seems overly needy or overly interested in rescuing, because both of those personality types are often disordered.
After 5 years, Jennifer and Cristobal have grown closer, and now, especially now, she needs a loyal friend.
I started getting sick. At that point, it was severe, severe headaches. I mean, debilitating headaches. I couldn't even lift my head sometimes. Started developing very strange skin lesions, and my doctor had no idea what it was.
I'm a little scared.
They tested me for meningitis and dengue and a lot of other things, thinking maybe I had picked up something from a mosquito bite or something. My doctor told me, I have no idea what's wrong with you.
She needed somebody to take care of her and to, help her out.
Cristobal comes to the rescue.
He told me, let me take care of you. I've got amazing health insurance. I'll put you on the insurance. I'll take care of you. And, we'll figure out what's wrong with you. The gratitude that I felt of thinking that this person cared so much about me. I thought he was just the sweetest person on earth. I really did.
I made a key to a copy of the key to my house. Here's the key, and I know how you feel, so you have your own room.
Jennifer craved the stability and the rock of this older man who is saying, listen, I'll take care of you. I will be the one that will give you the health care that you need in this time of crisis for you, in this time of health issues.
With no one else to turn to and her health in decline, Jennifer agrees to move in with Cristobal.
I'm not feeling well.
He picked me up and took me there, and he took care of me.
As Jennifer settles into her new home, she notices that something seems different about Cristobal.
That was when he changed. It was night and day. It was instantaneous the second we were both living in that apartment.
Jennifer. Have a good day.
What are you doing?
In his mind, he owned me. He would literally lock me in and take the phone so I couldn't call anyone. I was a possession. I was at his beck and call.
Joking, right?
She started realizing that he was very controlling, very possessive.
He put a deadbolt on the door that could only be opened with a key, and he had the only key. So he would literally lock me in and take the phone so I couldn't call anyone.
He monitored her where she was at all times. If she was going to leave the apartment, he wanted to know where she was going, how long she was going to be there.
Jennifer! Jennifer!
If I had to go across the street to the grocery store, he would tell me, you have 15 minutes.
15 minutes starts now.
In spite of everything, Jennifer needs Cristobal and the prison he's created for her.
That was who he was, and that was how it was going to be.
I think there's two possible scenarios going on here. One is that Cristobal feels very protective of Jennifer. She's not well, and so he wants to keep a good eye on her because he cares. And the second possible scenario is that he now sees her as a possession, that he feels like he owns her and he can control her.
This is a relationship that's born of obligation, and Jennifer is likely to put up with a higher degree of control for a longer time than she should because of that sense of obligation, and Cristobal is likely to feel entitled to things from Jennifer because he's providing for her.
This kind of controlling behavior raises a lot of red flags for me. A person who is controlling tends to escalate if they don't get what they want. And my concern is that if Jennifer doesn't conform, that Cristobal may get worse.
Although the cause of Jennifer's illness is still a mystery, her health improves, for now. And she's also learning how to live under Cristobal's control.
During that time, there were still times where we got along, and he was normal. I started learning, you know what? Why don't you go to the grocery store with me instead of being timed?
She's only beginning to grasp how troubled he is.
Cristobal was the black sheep of his family. He was, the one that always had the problems in the family, and the family was always, being called in to help him out.
His father was very abusive towards his mother. I know that. She told me that.
Here you go. It's your family, isn't it? Hey.
Take that picture and put it in the garbage.
She always said to me, I tried so hard to raise him to be good, but he didn't ever want to see his family. He would go months without doing anything but go to work and come home and sleep.
It concerns me that Cristobal doesn't have a good relationship with his family or very many friends, because what it tells me is that he's very in need of someone. And Jennifer has become that someone. Somebody who was psychologically savvy might worry that he was suffering from some sort of depression. But my guess is that Jennifer's happy that he's quiet and leaving her alone, and she's okay with it.
Cristobal seems to be quite socially isolated, and one of the negative repercussions of that can be that the person greatly overvalues one individual with whom they make a relationship, because that individual essentially represents all of their social support system.
That may be part of why he's so controlling. It's all he has, and he doesn't want to lose her.
I can't take this anymore.
Almost a year after Jennifer moves in, her health takes a turn for the worse. But Cristobal hasn't kept his promise to put her on his insurance.
Okay.
There was this promise of, you're gonna get insurance and then we'll find out what's wrong with you. And just waiting. So at 21 years old, I didn't want to die. I didn't want to be blind. It was hard, and he knew it.
There's a reason she can't be covered. They aren't married.
I called before for the Palacio marriage license, please.
And he said, fine, come on. And he takes me probably 3-4 miles away. And this is the courthouse.
Sign it.
You want your insurance? I'm gonna get your insurance. It was just literally walked up, wanna get married. Give me your ID, sign this, okay, you're married.
They become husband and wife on January 11th, 1995. Jennifer is 23 years old. Cristobal is almost 30.
Now I could see doctors without having to beg him. Part of me felt like I had sold my soul.
Thanks to her new health insurance, Jennifer finally gets a diagnosis.
I have lupus? Oh my God.
Lupus is an autoimmune disorder. Basically, my body's immune system is attacking my organs all the time. Do go into remission, and then that's why I would get a little bit better sometimes.
Now that doctors can treat the problem, her health improves. So much so, she starts working again. To begin with, she works as a babysitter. Then she starts her own nanny business.
I have clients that come to me looking for a good nanny and housekeepers, all of that kind of thing.
Great.
And so I try to match up people that I think will get along.
The business is doing well, so she's feeling much better and much more powerful in her life.
Slappy will be ready in an hour.
Best of all, Cristobal seems at ease with Jennifer's growing independence. Their relationship has never been better.
I felt like I had my friend back. We would go to the movies, we would go out to dinner, we would hang out.
They would go for weeks at a time and everything would be fine.
This unconventional marriage seems to be working out until Jennifer takes the relationship to the next level.
I told him I want a baby.
At that point, all hell broke loose.
Jennifer Winter and Cristobal Palacio get married so that she can be covered by his health insurance. And their relationship is improving. But there's still something missing in Jennifer's life.
I told him I want a baby.
There's just one problem. Their relationship is still platonic.
Of course, he wanted to have a normal married life to some extent because I had been through the rape. I didn't want that, and I told him I didn't want that.
Cristobal agrees to Jennifer's wishes. They conceive in vitro.
Finally got pregnant with him in 2000.
But with the arrival of twins, their marriage takes a turn for the worse.
Cristobal, I need help. We need to hire someone to help me.
The babies had been home for about a month and a half, and my lupus had begun to flare, and I was getting really sick. And I said to him, I need a little bit of help. I said, you're lucky enough that I'm buying them diapers and clothes. He said, if you think that I'm gonna spend money on hiring somebody to come and help you with something that you wanted and insisted on, you're crazy.
I'll buy the diapers, I'll buy the clothes, but I am not hiring anybody to be the mother. You are the mother.
Jennifer copes as best she can, but it's getting harder every day.
Everything just got really bad after the kids were born. The controlling is getting worse, the quiet mood swings, that everything's just getting worse in the relationship at that point.
But something has changed for Jennifer. As a mother, she finds she is less and less willing to give in to her husband.
There was an incident when my son was about 10 months old. He was born severely cross-eyed, and we had to patch his eye to try to strengthen the muscle. And we were out one day, and he said, you're doing it wrong.
Straighten out. My son is not going to be cross-eyed, okay?
No, that's it. My son's not gonna be cross-eyed. That's why I'm gonna listen to the doctor.
And he said, if that's my kid, you're going to do what I tell you to do.
Don't you ever touch my son like that again.
And that's it. And I said, no, I'm not going to do the wrong thing for my child. I'm going to do it the way the doctor told me to do it, and I don't care what you say.
When the twins were born, it really gave Jennifer a sense of empowerment. It gave her the backbone to really stand up to Cristobal.
Hello?
I called the doctor the next morning, and I told him the whole incident. And the doctor's nurse called and said, your wife is doing it the right way.
But what Cristobal does next is completely unexpected. He goes out and doesn't come back for days.
That was probably the last weekend he spent with us. It was almost like having them drove him out in a way. It was almost as if he felt like I was tied down now and he didn't have to monitor me, because now I had these two babies all to myself. That where was I going to go? What was I going to do? I had these children, and almost like they were little leashes holding me down.
Cristobal never explains where he goes during his absences.
We would go days without seeing him, days. And then as the children got older, it would be almost weeks without seeing him.
Cristobal's rarely home at that point. It's just her and the kids. When he is home, there's nothing but, fighting and discord.
I know he had a girlfriend, at least one. He would sometimes come in at 3 o'clock in the morning, take a shower, maybe sleep for an hour or two, and be gone by 6.
Why were you home so late last night?
Because I was working.
You were working? Mm-hmm. Really?
I didn't care. It was peaceful.
Happy birthday!
As the kids get older, Cristobal's absences seem like a blessing.
It was almost like we had our freedom. We had our little way of doing things, and we were happy.
Perfect, good!
Jennifer feels comfortable. She feels, okay, he's gone. I can kind of do my own thing. He can do his own thing. And things sort of just were there in limbo in sort of a coexistence.
You want to get 3 colors the same.
As part of their routine without Cristobal, Jennifer plays online computer games with the children.
So my children were probably 3 or 4 and had started playing an online game. My son is autistic, and the computer really was amazing with him. It brought him out of a shell, and so I encouraged that. And my children wanted to play it, and they wanted me to help them.
Kids, do you want to go
Through the game, Jennifer meets another parent, a British web designer and single father named Paul Winter.
Paul was a computer geek. He was an easygoing guy. He had a good sense of humor. He's in England. He's got a son.
In the beginning, it wasn't a romantic thing at all between us. I didn't even find him attractive. He sent me a picture of him and his son, and I was not attracted to him at all. We started talking. I happened to mention to him that my favorite singer was Alison Moyet.
Okay, what about this one? What about this one?
My all-time favorite band.
Yes, I do.
And he said something very sarcastic, and I laughed and thought it was really funny, and he says nobody else would have gotten that on here. So it just kind of turned out that we had a lot of things in common. We like the same music, we like the same books.
Thinking about doing some traveling.
They really hit it off. I think they just really clicked online.
I'm not lying.
He made me laugh. Just that dry English humor. He was a member of Mensa. He had an IQ of 154. He literally was a genius. He could look at things and instantly see something that another person may never see. It was just instant with him. That to me was incredibly hot. He got Skype, and I gave him my phone number, and he would call me sometimes and would just talk about things.
Jennifer is finally in a state of calm in her life. She's raising her children, Cristobal's not around, and it's almost like she can relax. And this gives her an opportunity to get to know herself, to really think about what she wants and needs.
The fact that Jennifer is starting a new relationship online while still in her marriage with Cristobal is never a good idea. The solution to an unhappy marriage is never to go out and bring a third party into it. I think Jennifer's repeating a cycle with Paul. She's out there needing something and finding a man who can't wait to fill that need.
I don't agree. I think Paul is filling a hole for Jennifer. I think he's solving her problems. It's somebody that she feels connected with. It's something she's never had before.
And I'm stuck here, and I got 2 kids with him.
As their friendship deepens, Jennifer opens up to Paul.
I confided in him. He knew it was bad. He knew that I was always alone.
Though Cristobal doesn't know about Paul, he can sense something's going on.
Have a good day.
He starts to spend more time at home, where he can keep an eye on his wife. Finally, Jennifer comes to a decision. She wants to end her marriage to Cristobal.
She's got somebody now that is, for the first time in her life, giving her confidence, treating her well. You know, he treats her wonderfully and says great things to her and compliments her, and she loves it.
I told him I found an apartment. I was leaving. At first, he flew into a rage, and then all of a sudden, you know what? Just go. Just go. It's fine.
Cristobal's reaction to Jennifer's announcement that she's leaving is a little bit surprising because he's been quite controlling throughout the course of the marriage, and he seems to sort of give up rather easily.
The fact that Cristobal was so willing to let Jennifer go tells me how much distance there was between them. They haven't really been spending much time together. They now have children, and I think he's sort of exasperated and given up.
I think it's highly likely that Cristobal felt used and betrayed, as if she had taken away from him something which he had earned by providing for her for all of those years.
Let's go. Let's go, kids. Come on.
1 month later, Jennifer files for divorce. Cristobal doesn't take it well.
Let's get in the car.
You're not gonna win this.
But while Jennifer's marriage with Cristobal is coming to an end, her relationship with Paul is entering a new phase.
He called me and told me that he was coming to see his father, and he was gonna fly into Miami.
I had to see you. I was in Florida anyway, and I thought I'd...
What do you...
Well,
I don't even know what to say.
I know.
It was just a little weird. I was so nervous, and I wasn't expecting him to kiss me, and he did, and it was like, okay.
Jennifer soon realizes she's falling hard for Paul, and he feels the same way.
I got more comfortable around him, and eventually, yeah, there was a little spark when he would kiss me, and it just kind of It was nice.
Their relationship really blossomed quite quickly. She really considered him the rock and the love of her life.
He went to go see his father, and then he came back to Miami, and he was supposed to get on a plane. And he said to me, I don't want to leave. I love you, and I don't want to leave. I want to stay for a while. And I said, okay.
I really can't imagine it without you anymore, and I don't want to go.
And don't.
He was only going to stay a couple of weeks, and he stayed a couple of months. That he decided that he's going to go move over here and be with her full time.
Paul moves in and helps Jennifer run her nanny and housekeeping agency.
The pink one.
She can't wait for her divorce to come through so she can make her relationship with Paul official.
Paul was at this point illegal in this country. He had overstayed his visa. And the only way you can correct that is to get married and put in the appropriate paperwork.
Finally, Jennifer and Cristobal's divorce is finalized.
Their marriage was over. She told me that she and her husband pretty much didn't have much of a relationship for about 6 years.
3 days after Jennifer's divorce becomes final, she marries Paul Winter. They don't have time or money for a ceremony.
We were married on Friday by my divorce lawyer because we thought that was kind of funny to have a divorce lawyer marry us.
The two of them came in, we talked, and I married them by signing off as a notary.
We loved each other very much and wanted to be married. And I wanted to have that, see what that was like to have someone that respected me and trusted me. And it was good.
But Jennifer's problems with her ex, Cristobal, are far from over. In fact, they are only just beginning.
Is constantly threatening me.
This guy won't go away, and he's hell-bent on making problems.
Jennifer and Cristobal Palacios' divorce is finalized. She hopes to put their troubled past behind her as she moves in with her new husband, Paul.
She's elated. This is everything she's wanted in life. She finally has a good relationship. She has her 2 kids that she adores. She has a career that's going well. Her life was finally coming together.
But there's one dark spot in Jennifer's life, the tense relationship with her paranoid ex-husband.
Cristobal at this point is not happy because she's found somebody new, and she's also gotten away from him. Cristobal was convinced that Jennifer and Paul had it out for him. He's just trying to move on with his life, and they just won't let him go.
Don't tell me what to do.
Soon, they're arguing regularly over custody of the children. Despite years of neglect, Cristobal now jealously fights for time with the kids.
Jennifer, I want my kids on the way. We're gonna settle this in court. We will settle it in court.
The custody situation was always very, very tumultuous between them. It really devolved into bitter infighting about, you're late, where are we gonna pick up the person, where are we gonna pick up the kids today?
Jennifer and Cristobal were taking turns, taking the other one to court. So if one didn't like something the other one did, they'd go to court and have a judge settle it. They were spending a lot of money on lawyers at that point.
Cristobal has never cared about his kids before. And I think that the reason he cares now is because he wants to hurt Jennifer. He knows that she is so connected to those children that if he can get them, it will cause her pain. It's pretty typical for a couple's relationship to get worse when there's a custody battle involved. So the fact that Cristobal and Jennifer are getting angrier and angrier with each other doesn't surprise me at all.
As the couple's arguments escalate, Jennifer's new husband, Paul, is pulled into the fray.
Paul just didn't like the way Cristobal would treat them when he came over there to get the kids. He would upset Jennifer, he'd pick a fight with her, and then he would ridicule her and scream at her and yell at her and all that kind of thing, and Paul didn't like that.
He's trying to be her rescuer, he's trying to be her hero. It makes me nervous that Paul is in the middle of this relationship between Jennifer and Cristobal.
Cristobal's run-ins with Paul become more heated, to the point where he makes a complaint to the police.
Cristobal's saying that there were some situations between he and Paul that things got out of hand. Paul pulled out a gun and fate pointed it towards Cristobal and kind of threatened him.
New husband of my ex-wife is a
Cristobal claimed that Paul was threatening him physically, saying he was going to beat him up, that he was going to kill him, that he was going to harm him in many ways.
He made numerous phone calls to the police that we were following him and stalking him.
The tensions between Cristobal, Jennifer, and Paul reach a boiling point, and now the conflict draws in the children as well.
Cristobal found some kind of a mark on one of the children. He develops this idea that Paul is somehow abusing the children.
She's had someone move into her
Cristobal
house.
even files a complaint with Florida's Department of Children and Families.
Based on these allegations of abuse, the department did open up an investigation.
No, he hit you here. Here, see? Did he hit you there?
Yeah.
See the bruise? You see that?
Paul was accused of child abuse 13 times in less than 2 years.
Paul at this point is, he's upset. I mean, this guy won't go away, and he's, hell-bent on making problems for Paul and Jennifer.
New husband, Paul abusing the children. Filed by the father 5 days after the alleged assault.
It's been exactly 2 years since Jennifer decided to leave Cristobal, and relations are worse than ever. Things come to a head one weekend in 2008. It's Cristobal's turn to get the kids, but Jennifer believes she should have them.
That weekend was Jennifer's birthday, and she normally had the kids on her birthday.
They both show up to pick the children up. Jennifer shows up, and Cristobal shows up at the school.
This is my birthday, and I asked you 3 weeks ago.
And I said, no,
Get your hands off of me.
it's my day. I get to have him. And then he started trying to rip the backpack off of my arm and said, we're gonna do homework, we're gonna do homework, give me the backpack.
The kids are starting to get upset because these two are fighting again, and at some point, Jennifer ends up with, the backpack and the kids. Cristobal leaves empty-handed that day.
Yay!
That evening, Jennifer celebrates. She's 37 years old. But she and Paul are anxious about the conflict with Cristobal.
Paul, at this point, says to her, listen, we don't need any more trouble with this guy. Why don't we just let him have the kids today, and we'll celebrate your birthday next weekend? So Jennifer called him up.
What do you want me to do?
And he says, bring them back tonight. And he hung up. That was it. So we had been originally intending to take the kids out for dinner, maybe go down to the Keys for the evening. So it turned into, we'll drop them off and then we'll go see a movie. And where we had to drop the children off was probably 4 blocks away from our movie theater.
Hey, kids.
Parked on the street, and the children got out of the car and went up to the door and knocked on the door and rang the doorbell and waited a few minutes.
But something's not quite right.
He didn't answer the door. Nobody answered the door. Both his car and his girlfriend's car were there. Okay, well, my daughter turned around and looked at me like, what do you want me to do, Mommy? I got out and went and rang the bell. I gave each of the kids a kiss on their head and said, just hold on.
Come on.
But it doesn't take long before the unimaginable happens.
My weekend, my Chris. Look, you are nothing but.
And I'm screaming and screaming and screaming.
It's Jennifer Winter's birthday. She and her ex, Cristobal Palacio, are arguing bitterly over the children. At the urging of her new husband, Paul, they try to drop off the kids at Cristobal's. But no one's answering the door. They're on the verge of giving up and going home. Cristobal can't hear them.
He's in the backyard. He hears just unrelenting honking in a very, very rude and aggressive type way, just honking and honking and honking.
Jennifer can't understand why Cristobal isn't coming to the door. She decides to give up.
Grabbed my son's hand and got back in the car. And we were getting ready to leave.
The next thing you know, they see Cristobal appear in the doorway.
I could hear him screaming, cursing, just cursing and screaming from his door. And Paul said, He's the one who told us to come here and drop them off. What is wrong with him?
Kidding me?
I'll be right back. Everything all right?
He's ready.
I'll be right back. Get out!
He was annoyed. Like, we brought the kids over and we've been sitting here for 10 minutes knocking on the door. He walks around the front of the van and he yells up to Cristobal, "What are you doing? You know, why are you doing this?"
We know that you are not the father. We called. You are not.
He sees Paul coming at him aggressively.
Oh, really? Yeah.
He saw him reaching for something like in his waistband. He was in fear for his life, so he had to open fire preemptively to save his own life.
There were 8 rounds that were fired, and all but one, I believe, made contact.
No! Why did you do that?
And I'm screaming and screaming and screaming.
Chris, what's happening?
Cristobal's girlfriend saw that there was some sort of altercation. She just heard the gunshots.
Do something! What's the matter with you?
By the time she dials 911, Paul is already dead.
Aren't you with me? You saw him? You told me to leave my house. My wife's husband.
The detectives took him back to the Homicide Bureau and they interviewed him.
Detectives find Cristobal surprisingly cooperative.
He was charging, he was screaming, he was swearing. I was saying, "Paul, calm down, calm down."
He gives a voluntary statement to the homicide detectives that are investigating the murder. There's no disputing what happened. He shot him. He completely takes responsibility for shooting Paul.
I'm not surprised at all that the growing tensions between Paul and Cristobal ended in violence. Some people become violent and aggressive because they're angry and confrontational, like Cristobal. Other people could become violent and aggressive out of protection, out of defensiveness. And so either of these two people would be capable of harming someone, even though they're coming from two totally different places.
Cristobal probably felt that Paul had what was his and had taken it from him to some degree. And Paul probably felt like he needed to step up and be knight in shining armor for Jennifer. That can be a volatile combination of people.
I was saying, "Paul, calm down."
As detectives interrogate him, Cristobal insists he had good reason to shoot Paul. Self-defense.
This guy lives with my children. I was afraid he was...
Cristobal said that he, at that point, felt in fear because Paul was advancing on him in a threatening manner.
He said Paul had a gun or a knife or something and was running at him.
He felt like he had no choice but to pull out his gun and to fire it.
Cristobal's story seems watertight, but this case is anything but.
This is not a whodunit. We knew who shot him. The question became, was he justified in doing it?
I didn't mean to do it.
With his right hand, he reached behind him. And I knew.
Cristobal Palacio says he was justified in shooting Jennifer's new husband, claiming that Paul was about to pull a gun on him. But his story starts to fall apart when police examine the crime scene and find no trace of the weapon that Paul was supposedly carrying.
No gun was ever recovered from Paul's body, whether at the morgue, whether at the autopsy, at the hospital, at the scene.
Paul wasn't armed. He did not have a weapon.
But even more incriminating is the account by Jennifer and the kids, who witnessed the entire thing.
Paul got out of the car. The intent was to say, "You told us to be here."
Look, Chris. This is my time with my kids. Chris. My time with my kids. They are not.
Paul, he was just walking on the driveway in an attempt to try to get the kids into the house.
He saw Paul, and he smiled, like he had just won the lottery. He stopped and he lifted up his shirt with his left hand, and with his right hand he reached behind him. And I knew. I remember screaming, "Oh my God, Paulie's got a gun."
And Cristobal opens up and just unloads a volley of gunfire.
He's firing as he walks, and he walks right up to Paul and fires at him, and then even shoots him a few times while he's laying on the ground.
Basically, the twins were right there watching as their father came out shooting at their stepfather.
Cristobal shoots Paul 9 times. One shot blew off Paul's finger. One of the shots severed Paul's spine, so even if Paul had survived this shooting, he would have been paralyzed. One of the shots was through the heart.
By the time Jennifer reaches Paul, he's dying.
Tried doing CPR, tried to get him breathing. And as I lifted up Paul's shirt to try to look, I knew it was pointless.
Paul's wounds were fatal. There was no way he would survive.
Cristobal tells detectives that Paul had been threatening him for months and that he had reported the threats to police. But these reports were never substantiated. Detectives also learn about Cristobal's allegations that Paul was abusing the children.
My daddy told me to say that.
None of them were ever found to be true. There was never any proof to corroborate these allegations.
We hired a nanny, and the nanny was there. If I had to go out or had to go meet a client, the nanny was there, and there was always someone. It was just to be able to say, no, that never happened because so-and-so was here.
Ultimately, the Department of Children and Families realized that the kids were being coached and that they were being told to say this and told to lie, basically. They deemed the allegations as not being credible.
I think that Cristobal was planning to shoot Paul at some point for quite a while and was making these false allegations so that he would have some kind of a plausible self-defense argument to make when it happened.
I really think that Cristobal had two things in the works. First of all, he wanted to destroy Paul's reputation and image. Secondly, he was setting up an explanation for why he might need to shoot him, that he was retaliating, that he had been hurt, and that this was a bad man that he was killing.
At the heart of virtually every sociopathic act is narcissism, a sense of entitlement to indulge the self at the expense of others. And so I think what we see coming out of Cristobal is a sense of entitlement to avenge what he probably actually believed was a huge betrayal of him by Jennifer and by Paul.
Turns out it's not the first time Cristobal has pulled a gun on someone. He's also pulled one on Jennifer. It happened years before, when Jennifer took too long at the grocery store.
The store was crazy busy. It was so crowded. And I got back and I opened the door and started to say something like, oh my gosh, it's crazy in there. You should have seen it. And he slammed the door behind me and he grabbed me. That was the first time he ever hit me. And I was just shocked, so shocked. I remember just staring at him and I'm crying. And he's just saying, I told you, you had 15 minutes. Next time you're gonna listen to me, aren't you?
It became a very terrible relationship. There was a lot of emotional violence as well as physical abuse.
So I called my best friend Lily and I said, he left the door unlocked. I need you to come get me.
Cristobal quickly figured out that Jennifer was hiding at Lily's.
Went to her house, and sure enough, there I was. Pulled out that gun he carried for work. Pointed it at her mother, pointed it at me. Dragged me out by my hair. From then on, said, you know what, I can't put anybody else in this situation. I used to go into the bedroom that I shared with the children, and I would lock the door. But I think I had become complacent because he hadn't ever really been around much anymore. And I left the door unlocked. And I woke up one morning and my daughter wasn't there. And my heart started pounding. And I just knew something was wrong. And I went out in the living room.
I'm gonna kill them.
And he was sitting on the couch. And she was next to him. And he saw me and he smiled. And he had the gun in his hand.
I know you're thinking of leaving me. And if you do, I'm gonna kill them both.
And if you do, I'm gonna make sure that you watch each one of them die. And you're gonna watch them both die before I kill you.
Jennifer believes Cristobal had been planning Paul's murder since the day she left him.
Come on, kids, come on, let's get in the car.
It was the revenge that he wanted. That's all that it meant.
Cristobal goes on trial, and he himself is the star witness.
He was running at me, and he looked like he was coming with a gun. I shot him. His knee buckled, and he went down to the ground.
He testified fairly well for a defendant. He got emotional, he cried in all the right points. He definitely portrayed himself as the victim in this whole scenario.
Cristobal tries to paint Paul as the aggressor.
If my husband wasn't dead, it would be laughable, really. Paul was the most gentle person you would ever in your life meet.
He didn't fit the profile of the menacing, angry man who had a vendetta against the ex-husband. That wasn't him at all.
Cristobal argues that under Florida's controversial Stand Your Ground law, he was entitled to protect himself against Paul.
This was not an easy case for the prosecution, and here's why. Cristobal was at home. He cooperated completely. Who's to say that he didn't fear for his life? Who's to say that he did not feel threatened at his own property?
In the end, the jury comes back with a conviction, but on a lesser charge of second-degree murder.
The verdict itself was a slap in the face. He committed murder, cold-blooded murder, in front of children. And that's all he got?
He was sentenced in the end to 45 years in prison, and he was given a 30-year minimum mandatory sentence. So he'll do at least 30 years plus a good chunk of the final 15 years.
Paul Winter leaves behind a young son in England and a grieving family in Miami.
Paul came here because he thought he found the right woman, and got together with her and was basically just living his life over here. So he got killed over what that day?
I'll always remember, but I don't cry. My husband lost his life, but my children and I gained our safety and our freedom, and we're so thankful to Paul for that. He gave us the ultimate gift. There are days that I'll hear a song and I'll go, oh, and he's not there. It doesn't go away. It doesn't stop. I miss Paul a lot.